is a brand new month, which means it's a brand new month for book club picks. So I'm going to do a reading vlog reading all of the book clubs I'm a part of, their picks for August. So that way I can get caught up and not be that person at the book club that never finished the book. Hello, my book babes, and welcome back to my channel if you're not new here. If you are new here, thanks so much for clicking on this video. My name's Morgan and I read a lot. And I love doing reading vlogs, showing you guys what I'm reading and my experience while I'm doing so. And because it is literally almost midway through August, how that happened, I don't know. I need to get on my book club books stat. So again, like I said, I'm not the person at the book club that did not read the book or didn't finish it for whatever reason. I feel like with book club picks, I'm way more pressured to finish them, even though y'all know I didn't have at the drop of a hat. And I thought I'd just go over the 3 books I have in store for my different book clubs and show y'all me read them to let y'all know if my book club's pick was worthy or not. The first one I have is Good People by Petmina Sabit. This is actually my Let's Go Literate Fable book club, the one I host and help make selections on. It's completely online through the Fable app. Click the link in my description if you'd love to join us. The whole point of the Let's Get Literate book club is to promote literacy and ideally do a different genre every month and more diverse authors. So the genre for August was literary fiction, and we voted on 4 options and Good People won out. The description says, after fleeing a war-torn Afghanistan, the Sharaf family resettles as refugees in Northern Virginia. After many years of hard work, the fathers become a successful businessman. Now they live in the most exclusive neighborhood, their growing family attending the most prestigious schools. Zora, the eldest daughter, is the apple of her father's eye. When an unthinkable tragedy strikes, everyone is left reeling and the family is suddenly thrust into the court of public opinion. There is talk that behind closed doors, the sheriff's happy household was anything but. Did the sheriff family achieve the American dream, or was the image of the model immigrant family just a facade? A urgent narrative told through the perspectives of those who know the family best and those who only think they do. Good People is a riveting, provocative, and unforgettable story of community, family, and identity in our increasingly divided times. So I really love the concept of this, and so far I've actually read a little bit in. I am 12 pages in, and the chapters are actually very short, and like it mentions, it is not even told, at least yet, from the perspective of the actual families. So far we've gotten multiple family friends, we've gotten a sales associate at a Walgreens, we've gotten a neighbor, and they're all kind of talking about this family. And so I will say right now it's feeling a little clunky. I'm having to absorb a lot of names and people, places, things. It also seems like the environment is more of an investigation environment, like they are interviewing these people, the police are. So it's very interesting. It's very unique, the format. I'm hoping that as it goes along, it will flow a bit more and I'll have more grasp and understanding on the people, the characters, and how the story is flowing. But yeah, I think it has like a 4.2 or a 4.3 on Goodreads. So very, very well loved and highly reviewed. And yeah, it's not too late to join us on Fable. Like I said, click the link in my description and let's get to discussing Good People by Petmina Sabit. And this will be the first book that I will read for the vlog as well. Next, we have Goblin by Josh Malerman. Now, this is for my local horror book club that I'm a part of. I did not host it or start it, but I joined it, and I love this book club. It's one of my favorites that I attend. What we do is we do that trend where we write down a suggestion of a book for the next month, and then we pick from the jar, and whatever we pick is then excluded from the options. So then by the time we get to the very last option, the person will read out, we will be reading blank. And so whoever suggested Goblin by Josh Malerman won. This is, I believe, 6 short interconnected short stories in a novella collection that reveals a sinister secret about a small mysterious town. Now, 2 of the girls have finished this book in the book club and they have both given it 5 stars and loved it. Josh Malerman is hit or miss for me. I read Incense Around the House and it was okay, I give it like a 3.5. And I have his newest novel, Pictures of You, as an ARC. I haven't read it yet, but it's not getting great reviews right now. So we will see. However, I have more faith since the girls in my book club have loved it so far, and this will be the next book I read in the vlog. And lastly, for my local Barnes & Noble Romantasy book club, I have Worthy of Fate. I had not gone to this Romantasy book club in so long because they keep choosing books of sequels of books I either didn't like or didn't read, or books I just wasn't interested in. But they kick out inactive members, so I am trying my best to read and come to the Romantasy book club this month. They chose Worthy of Fate. I'm not going to lie, I haven't heard amazing things about this book. The description says, a fae must risk everything to save her realm from the darkness plaguing the land in this thrilling first novel in the Realms in Peril series. So the other part that's unfortunate about this is I'm not a huge fan of fae in my fantasy novels. If you've watched my videos, you've heard me say this a few times. I feel like it's just a catch-all for any and all magical powers, and that to me is kind of just boring. I want something more interesting. So we shall see. And the other thing that's kind of intimidating me already about this book is we are getting a pretty extensive character list, reference guide to gods, terms, and places. Now, I'm not trying to say this is necessarily a bad thing. There have definitely been fantasies out there where I'm like, I wish there was a character list and a gods list and a political systems list. And so I'm not saying technically it's immediate fault. I think it just does make me nervous of like, okay, how big of a world am I diving into? Is the author going to world build in an appropriate way that helps me comprehend the story, or are they just gonna throw me in? Who knows? But I'm going to give it a fair chance. I promise I will. And who knows? Maybe I'll be the odd one out and I'll love it. But this book club's happening towards the end of the month, so this will be the last one I read for the reading vlog. And yeah, that's about it. I'm going to get a good chunk started on Good People tonight. I will insert any clips if I have something to say in between, but oftentimes I will completely finish a book and then I'll come back on and let y'all know how I feel. I also gotta go get dinner started and yeah, to settle in for the night. Today is my Friday from work, so even though it's Thursday, but I don't work tomorrow. So my ideal goal would be to finish all books by Monday, so like the next 3 days, so that way I can move on. The next vlog I want to do even after this is a library books vlog, so I'm very excited for that one because I have some incredible library books on hold, but we gotta get through these book clubs first because I committed and we're going to be doing it. So yes, I will update y'all when I have anything to say about Good People. Hello, my lovelies. I'm here to give you an update because I finished Good People by Pet Venus a bit, and I'm going to give this a 4.5. This is just one of those books that I will be pondering on for a long time. It's quietly thought-provoking and refreshingly unique. I really enjoyed what this was trying to do. At first, I was a bit put off by the experimental narration style, and at the time it felt like a lot of names and information was just thrown my way. But the more you read and the more familiar you become with the characters, the book starts to flow, and the formatting and narration becomes an entertaining part of the reading experience. Good People is about the immigrant, but specifically Muslim and Afghan experience and the battle between culture and country, the catch-22 of the idea of assimilation, and how integral perspective is to the way you view the world and others. And it forces the reader, especially if you're like myself, which is a white, natural-born American, to look inward and reflect on your own biases and perceptions. You're told the story of this Afghan family, their dynamics, their relationships, and the death of their daughter through many point of views and prejudiced accounts that there were times that I just didn't know what to believe. One moment, the concept of this family committing an honor killing seems entirely plausible, but then the next you're confronted with the reality of the evidence and the motives of those behind the witch hunt of this Afghan family. It left me with questions like, if the family was white and Christian, would the police have ever reinvestigated the death of their daughter and point fingers at the family like they did? Would the discipline of their daughter be seen in a different light? Who benefits from the persecution and demonization of a wealthy brown family? And what do we truly expect of immigrants when it comes to the idea of assimilation? Only reason this is not 5-star for me is that it simply just didn't give me that 5-star feeling, honestly. And I guess I'll say that the writing is simple and there's not really a clear voice, so perhaps that as well, but that's really all I can say about the negatives of this book. This is Pet Venus a Bit's debut novel, and I cannot wait to read anything else they put out. I think you will love this if you're really into unique experimental formatting and narration. You like literary fiction about families and their interpersonal relationships, you want to diversify your authorship and what you're reading and want to learn about new cultures, and you're looking for a book that will really make you think and ponder and question yourself, your own biases, and just challenge you a bit. I think Good People would be a great option for all of that. And yeah, I am really pleasantly surprised with this pick for the Let's Go Literate Book Club. I think it is lovely. I left my comments in the chapter sections on Fable, so if you decide to join the book club or you want to read this or want to see my thoughts or my club members' thoughts, again, click the link in the description to come join us, come see what we're all about. I'm very excited because for the next 2 months, we're getting to the spooky season. September, the genre will be thriller, and October, the genre will be horror, and those are two of my favorite categories of literature, so I'm so excited. It's going to be a good time. However, speaking of horror, I have started Goblin by Josh Malerman for the horror book club I'm a part of. So this is 6 novellas in the collection, and then it's supposed to kind of be interconnected all around one town named Goblin. The very first story was super creepy. It was an amazingly strong start. And now I'm 2 more stories deep. These past 2 stories have been very mid, a little boring, not that creepy, especially the most recent one. So I'm about to start the third, or maybe the first story I read was the prologue. I don't know, but I'm on I guess now the fourth section is what I should say, the fourth. So we shall see. I'm hoping it picks back up. I can see the vision. I can see what he's trying to convey, but so far only the first story or the prologue has been effective for me. So that's a little bit of update on that. My goal is to finish this by today. I don't know if I'll go straight into Worthy of Fate. I have this arc of She Haunts Me Still that I really want to read. So I'll see how I'm feeling after I finish this. I'll either start my arc and maybe we'll get a bonus book in here for you guys, or I'll go into Worthy of Fate. I'm not sure yet. But right now, it's just okay. I'm hoping it gets better. And I will check in when I have finished Goblin. Hello, a little bit of an update, an unfortunate update. I think I'm going to be officially DNFing Goblin, even though I've read a decent chunk, I feel like. The problem is I am literally falling asleep while trying to read this, like my eyes are closing. I don't know what happened. I read that first story, the prologue-ish story, where this guy is tasked with delivering something super weird and he doesn't know what it is, and it's very creepy. And then the rest of the novellas are kind of interconnected, but they're not really anything to do with the first one. So I asked the two girls in my book club who really love this, like, hey guys, I'm thinking about DNFing, I'm so sorry, but do any of these stories have anything to do with the first one? Or like, how much do I need to read to know what happened from the first story? And they were like, all you have to read is literally the prologue and the epilogue, and you'll get all you need to know. So I was like, perfect. So I read the prologue, the first 2 or 3 novellas, and the epilogue. So it's like I basically read half the book, but it's still DNF. So yeah, I think this just did not capture my attention. And again, that creepy, hoary feeling from the first prologue was not consistent in the other novellas at all, which was really disappointing. Basically a DNF for now. Thankfully, the girls in my horror book club are very sweet, and when I tell them that I don't like a book or I'm DNFing for the club, they're very nice about it. And the good thing is that one of the girls, she does not have a physical copy of this, and she really loved it, so now I can give this physical copy to her. So it's a win-win-win, but yes, DNF. I am going to be picking up She Haunts Me Still. I've read the first couple pages, and I'm liking it so far, so that's going to be my little break in between picking up Worthy of Fate. I'm not going to lie, sometimes with book clubs, it feels like homework, and I'm getting that kind of vibe right now, so before I pick up Worthy of Fate, I kind of want to pick up a book that I want to read, that I'm in the mood for. So that's what She Haunts Me Still will be about. And if I like it, if I feel like you guys might want to know what I feel about it, then maybe I'll insert a little review on that as well, a little bonus book that's outside this vlog. But yes, after that, I'll pick up Worthy of Fate, and then I'll finally be done with all my book clubs, and I can relax and do some more mood reading for the rest of the month. And that is my update, and I will check back in when I have anything to say about either She Haunts Me Still or starting Worthy of Fate. Hello, everyone. Update for you. I finished She Haunts Me Still, and I might as well include my thoughts in this vlog. I mean, why not? I will say I got this as a free copy from the publisher, and they did include this very delicious character art. So thank you very much, Dutton. She Haunts Me Still. I think I'm going to be giving this a 3.75. This first half was a banger, and I was convinced I was going to be giving this like a 4.5 to a 5-star if it continued that way. Then the last half, unfortunately, really dragged. It really got muddled, the plot, and it started to get repetitive. And God, I just hate when that happens, man. When the premise is so good and the potential, the potential is there, and it just cannot execute towards the end. This book follows our main character, Mallory, and she got an invitation to attend a theater program at this like very gothic Rhode Island school. And she's been haunted by this ghost her entire life. Her mother committed suicide by stabbing herself in the heart with a knife. And up until that point, before her mom passed away, she was haunted by this ghost. But then once her mom passed away, the hauntings kind of stopped. Now, Mallory's always suspected that this ghost, was the cause of her mother's death. But anyway, she's going to this theater school. She gets cast as the lead in Romeo and Juliet, but then this blood-soaked spirit that she thinks caused her mom's death resurfaces. And because this is also the same college that her mom attended as well, she kind of goes on this mission to figure out what truly caused her mom's fate and how she can prevent the same fate from happening to her. And along the way, she meets another student named Ezra, who has very dark secrets of his own. She's a first year, he's a fourth year. There's a little bit of power dynamics, and he basically says, I will help you figure out what's happening with your mom. All the meanwhile, he knows a lot more than he lets on, especially about our other love interest, because there is sort of a love triangle, Saskia, as our main character Mallory is bisexual, so there's great bisexual rep in here. Saskia is a character that comes in to be the understudy of Juliet. Things take a turn when Mallory finds out that Saskia might be seeing her own ghost, and they also have to work together to figure out what is happening before any of them meet a untimely demise. Like I said, this book started out so good. It mostly focuses on Ezra and Mallory's relationship when it comes to the romance. I would categorize this book as a paranormal horror romance. And so Ezra and Mallory are like the main couple for the first half. I'm not gonna lie, I loved it. This book is spicy, and the spice scenes between them two were delicious, loved. But then things happen between Ezra and Mallory, and that's where Saskia, the other love interest, kind of comes in. And that's sort of around the halfway mark. And unfortunately, I felt like Saskia and Mallory's relationship was really rushed and did not have ample time to develop naturally. And so therefore, at times it felt a bit forced and coming out of nowhere. Again, I loved the bisexual representation. I just wish we had more time developing their relationship, because I was so invested with Ezra that switching to this kind of newer person that comes in about halfway through was a bit difficult, I think, to connect with. And the problem I had is, this whole idea of just trying to figure things out, basically. Like, she's trying to figure out her mom's history, the history of this school, the history of the ghost, and trying to prevent this like insurmountable evil from like coming alive, and also taking her the same way her mother was killed. Figuring it out portion just started to get a little repetitive towards the end. Like, we were still figuring things out. Like, this is a little over 400 pages, and it felt like we did not really click things into place to the last like 20%, which I know is like common for a lot of books. I don't know. It just started to get a little sloggy. The pacing started to go off. I think the writing is fine. And like I said, I was just so invested in the first half, and the investment just waned the longer this book went on. And that being said, I would read another book by this author, and I wouldn't necessarily not recommend this book to others. I think if you're wanting to dip your toes into paranormal horror romance, then I would still recommend this. I just think for me personally, it did end up slogging, but my experience, not everyone else's experience. And I think there's definitely a market for this book. I mean, I am the market for this book. It's just the way it was executed towards the end, wasn't for my taste. But I did have a lot of enjoyable moments. I was definitely creeped out at certain moments as well. Like, there's very vivid depictions of this ghost and sort of the horrors going on. So I think that was done really effectively. I just wish I was invested in all the characters as equally as I was in the beginning. And I think this could have been cut down to be a little bit shorter. But 3.75, that's still like a decent rating. I didn't hate it at all. It was so good in the beginning, dude. So good. I just remember being like 70% in and yearning for like the love I have for this book during the first half. I was like, where did it go? But yeah, so that is She Haunts Me Still. And so now we will finally get to the last book of this vlog, Worthy of Fate. Like I said, it's a fae romantasy. It's 570 pages. I would not pick this up if not for the book club, though. The good thing is that the Barnes & Noble Romantasy book club I'm part of does have a Fable book club section, so thankfully if I do have things to say about this book, good or bad, I can talk with others about it online, which I love having access to. But yeah, this really does feel like homework at this point, and you might be like, Morgan, you literally don't have to force yourself to do this, like no one's holding a gun to your head. But I'm forcing myself to do it, because if I don't, I'll never get to it. I have to at least try. I have to at least give it a solid chance. I can't ever say that I won't DNF a book, but I'm going to try really hard to get through this so I can give my full review and thoughts, especially at this book club. So that is the update. We're starting Worthy of Fate, and I will check back in when I have something to say about this book. Hello everyone, and I have an update, an unfortunate update. I am DNFing Worthy of Fate. I gave it a good shot for me. I'm at almost 50 pages. Guys, the writing quality in this book is bordering on atrocious. I've seen some reviews call this like Wattpad fanfic come to life, and that's exactly what it's giving. It's giving Wattpad fanfic, but translated directly from the website with no editing into a book. The author is doing that thing where they'll mention a feeling or a thought in the first couple sentences of the top of the page, and at the end of the page, a paragraph or two later, she says the same thing as if we didn't get it the first time. A lot of obvious direct statements, little to no subtlety at all. And also there's just a lot of cringe lines like, oh no, I don't fear death, I fear fate. And like, I know that's supposed to be like iconic, but it's very similar lines like that where it's like she just wants to get a soundbite, but in her book. I cannot go on. Like, the writing leaves a lot to be desired. So 50 page in, I'm DNFing. At this point, I'm either going to go to the book club meeting and just have to say that I DNF'd, which is not a crime, people, that happens. Or I'm just not going to go, and they'll probably kick me out because I have not gotten like 3 months, which would be totally valid, by the way. However, I feel bad about this vlog. 2 DNFs, technically I finished 2 books, but only one of them was for an actual book club. The other was just like an extra I threw in. So this vlog's probably gonna be like short and sweet and a little bit mid. So sorry about that. But if y'all know anything about me by now, it's that I cannot force myself to go on when I feel like DNFing something. It's literally, I think, physically impossible for me to. I just won't pick up the book and then I just won't read. And that is where I draw the line. So yeah, DNF, Worthy of Fate. I think I DNF'd Goblin as well. So when it comes to ratings of the books I read, She Haunts Me Still and Good People. She Haunts Me Still was a 3.75, so obviously that's my worst book that I read, though honestly it was middle of the road. And Good People I really, really enjoyed, so that will be my best book, and then my 2 DNFs. Anyways, that is all for me. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a wonderful day or night wherever you are. I hope you're about to pick up a book that is so scrumptious and delicious. I want that for you. And I will see y'all in my next video. Bye!